Hello,
Hello.
everybody, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. And I have with me a very special guest, a sound kind of technician and a musician, who is named Ophir Gal, which is the correct Hebrew pronunciation. How are you, Ophir?
Thank you. Very well. It's
Yeah,
a it's a sound designer. That's
sound designer.
fashionable,
Yes.
fashionable to say today.
Yeah, technician is kind of maybe
Well,
a kind of offense, maybe to or
maybe
a,
some.
or a
I think
derogatory term. Yeah.
yeah. I think between. It's also a lingual trend to say designer. Everybody is
Yes.
designing today. Although you do design, sometimes I do design the sound, but also uh, just in the recent past, you did have to be quite a technician to operate a sound studio. It's much easier today. I see people doing great stuff with next to no knowledge at all.
Yeah. No budget, I'm guessing.
Um, yeah, also
Almost.
you need also less budget.
Yeah.
You couldn't own operate a studio, even any studio by your own.
Yeah. Well, every
Yeah,
kind of a hickory banjo player can put his music up on Bandcamp or wherever.
yeah, or record a podcast, a video
Yes.
podcast.
Yes, every hickory
Look,
bop
look,
or
yeah,
hillbilly can do it from his
look,
house.
look how it, look how easy it is.
Yes, from his mother's basement. And it's it's a zero-sum game, you know. You have to everybody does it, so you can't run away from it. I
Yeah.
think
It has a few sides, but I think generally it's good.
yeah, the
But-
podcasting.
no, I mean that the technology allows people with less knowledge, less technical knowledge, or even less musical knowledge to just flow with their talent,
Yeah, with their crazy
yeah,
ideas, yeah.
find their musical or artistic or generalist
Horizon,
way.
yeah, or something.
Uh, so it's less limits, and less barriers. Of course, old school people. I guess I'm old school by now,
Yes.
but old school people would look at it and may say, in look down on it, say, what are they doing with no knowledge, no expertise, no technical knowledge, no music theory knowledge. And sometimes it does look weird, but generally I think it's for the best. I don't really mind when I hear some music if the guy who did it knows music theory, or three chords, or maybe just downloaded some chord progressions, or,
Yes.
or sounds from some online site. I don't really mind.
Yes.
I mind what I hear, the
Yeah.
outcome.
If it comes from a soundboard or it comes from a live instrument, it shouldn't matter, I think, in purpose, but
It's not about the principle of. Well, I think we as musicians, we have some time to get used to the idea that it doesn't matter on principle. It does matter to me what I hear. If I hear um, a poor imitation of some acoustic instrument, and it's poor only because they didn't have budget, or they didn't care that it's poor, and it's coming from a computer. Um, So it does bother me, and it bothers me that it doesn't bother many people. And you hear it many times on on low budget things like TV or videos for children, and
Yes, the
stuff like
reality
that.
shows. Yeah, reality shows also. I think.
But if it sounds good, and especially if it's not meant to be an imitation, it's an electronic sound, it's an electronic drum, who who was meant to sound electronic or computerized, whatever, then it's okay. That's what I meant. Um, so it's not on the principle, but I do find it
Irritating.
irritating. What's the
Yes.
word that sometimes the quality is bad for budget or for people that doesn't care. I think the audience should care. Um, like you
Yeah.
can hardly blame the the producer who made this show with bad sounding music if the customers, like the kids' parents or the viewers, whatever, if they don't care, so why should he? Like
Yes.
he came to do something with maybe art, but he has to be a business. So if the customer doesn't care, so it's even hard for him to care. Also, the musician. Well, I work a lot with kids TV, baby TV, which is broadcasted internationally. Also, baby first TV. Also, some things that were sold to Hit Entertainment and Disney, and some more more channels in Israel, Nickelodeon. And always the budgets are relatively low relative to feature films or even TV dramas.
Yes.
Um, but I always make my best to keep the quality, the musical quality and the sound quality as up as I can, as high as I can. Um, it's not financial, if that's the word for it. It's not the so wise business wise,
Yes.
because you invest.
It's not a fiscally
Yeah, because I
advisable
invest
choice.
a lot of time. Like if I have to make something with acoustic instrument, and I'll have a budget, I will gladly write arrangements and invite players and record them and mix them like I would record an album. Or even if it has to be quicker, then still I would love to pay
Yeah.
players.
So how
So
much does it cost to actually produce an hour or record an hour in studio, shall we say, with performers and all that, the shebang?
well, I will just finish the point I wanted to say before.
Okay, okay, I'm sorry.
Um, I said, as it is with low budgets, so most of the time I play the instrument myself,
Oh,
whatever I can. Now, I'm not a great guitarist, but I can get away with a take, in the studio.
yes.
And so I play lots of instruments like flutes and percussions and piano
Wow.
and lots of more instruments. I really love.
Oh, like a composer, yeah.
Yeah, I really love playing instruments. If I had my way, I would start just as many instruments as I can. But this is really not financial, so I can. Maybe when I'm retired. So I played. So on one hand, it's nice that I have to play all those instruments and record them. So it's nice that is the work is making me do it. But the less nice part is the outcome is a bit. Um, it's not as, how do you say, the outcome is not as good as it would be with
Yeah.
layers,
It's not
and also,
rewarding. Yeah.
yeah, but better sounding also, but less better sounding when I do it
Yes.
myself. And also, I like working with people.
Yes.
So this kind of job is you work a lot of time alone, but you also work with people.
So you like instruments or people more?
I like them both.
Okay.
But sometimes in our age, as I said, the technology that allows people, um, the alone part got too big
Mm,
for me.
yes.
I like my alone. I like it. But today everything also everybody's emailing. Like you have less people coming to the studio, less and less, I'd say, and lots of emails. Um, well, maybe the Zoom thing is better because instead of
Yeah.
reading correction in email, you said, okay, just let's make a Zoom session.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you should
I think,
integrate it.
yeah, it's less of a kind of a bother than when you write an email. You have to think of it, of everything you have to say and the spelling and blah, blah, blah. But when you talk to somebody, there is a natural kind of flow to the
Yeah,
conversation and your thoughts start to run, and it's a
especially
lot easier.
when it comes to the small tweaks of timing and sounds, it's very hard to write about it.
Yes.
In 5 minutes, I can we can do work of like 20 emails, which
Yes.
you have to send, and then you go somewhere, and then you read it, and then you read. Um, you asked about how much does it cost. I I can tell some numbers, but I'll I'll just give you
Just a ballpark numbers, not
not numbers, but
exactly. Yeah.
I'll have to I make a comparison of what how many people has to get paid.
Yes.
Uh, so I do it like that. Like when I hear just a kids show that used to be played when I was a kid, and I heard it just a few years ago on some old disc, old CD, and I hear like two singers from the show. No, there were four. There was two singers and two that are puppeteers, and there
Guitar
was I think,
puppeteers.
oh, yeah, it's a show with persons and puppets.
Okay.
Okay, so we have four people singing. You have a piano, flute, and clarinet or bassoon, I think, and some percussion maybe. Okay, so you have four players and four singers,
Mm,
and when the players come to the studio, um, they don't just improvise it, or you don't just when I do if I do it today, I'm just doing it alone.
mm.
I don't need the players, none of them, and I do it alone. And I add more instruments, so it's really big, and people got used to it. I don't know if they really like, but that's the trend. It's big playbacks for everything
Mm.
and jumpy playbacks. Right? So I just do it on my own in my own studio. But back then, you have to. I'm not saying which is better. I'm just saying that's the way it is. Um, this time, these times, most of the times, the studio owner or technician wouldn't be also the musicians.
Designer, sound designer.
Like no, it was technician at that time.
Yes, I understand.
Designer was another thing.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
and the
like a
musician.
cook. It's like a cook that will call himself a chef, you know? So,
No, I actually mean that when I design a sound for the soundtrack for a film, I design it. Um, but when and it's what I do. I when I think of the studio recording this song for this kid show, um, even if you are the also the one who's going to do the mix, and it's kind of an art and design, you have to have lots of technical knowledge to operate the studio. It's electronics, and it's big machines, those 2-inch reel tapes, and it has to connect with one another, and everything is electronic and mechanical, nothing digital. And you the technical, really technical, like engineer, sound engineer, you had to be next to engineer. And we used to be like engineers. Well, in the studio you had to, how do you say, when you connect electronic, you know,
plug.
not plug, with heat, الألخيم.
To infuse.
Fuse, I don't know if
Infuse.
that's the word, but make cables, um, fix cables, fix
Yes. Yes,
headphones.
it's infuse. Infuse. L'alchim. The
Yeah, so you
infusion.
had to do,
Yeah. Al-Khama.
we had to, like, they want, like, young ones, we used to do the stuff.
Yes, I did it also. And an
Yeah,
electronic kind of
yeah,
after school extra course.
yeah. So so instead you had to be an engineer, so the word was correct. So anyway, the musician, when he came, he had to, the main musician, he had to, probably the pianist, had to write specific notes for the clarinet and the flute and the singers,
Yes.
because you pay them by the session, the clarinet and the flute. And when they come, it's faster, so you have to, they have notes, they are good sight readers, and they play, and they make the take. That's all. We go over the song to make the takes, and they go. um, Lots of time together. um, Also, the players were real pros. Players today are also pros, but the number of pro players has decimated, because they're
Yes.
less needed.
Decimated is a little harsh, maybe reduced. Yeah. Or
Reduced, maybe.
dwindled in numbers. Yeah.
Yes, but
Decimated is a little
decimated is
harsh.
like, yeah, it's like living.
Decimated is destruction. Yeah.
Maybe it is relatively, but has really reduced. So there
Yes.
are great, super professional players today, but the numbers of professional players has been reduced. This is also true not only for studio players, but also for live players.
Yes.
Everything is became more professional and more niche, more like, I think before we had DJs, right? Every event has to has some kind of a band. If you're a rich guy, it's going to be a big band. If you're modest, it's going to be a small band, but you had a band.
Yes. Yes.
So a lot of people had to go up and play night after night and be very professional about how they do it. There are great events bands today, very professional, great, but again, less in numbers. Um, so, um, for good or bad, I think the main bad thing I can say, I think the good thing I can say about this technology is what I said before. It lowers barriers. It's less barriers, and more about will to create and talent. Um, the bad thing I can say is it's less cooperative. People still cooperate, of course, but less. Especially when it comes to professional work, as all the world is. Also banks are less cooperative, and I think the question is, how about making a living out of it? And I don't know about it. So far, I can see in the music and sound industry, when an opportunity closes, an opportunity opens. So far, I don't know if it will hold, because technology is advancing very fast. Um, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's okay if people wouldn't work in the music industry. It's a must that we have music, but it
Yes.
isn't a must that someone would do it as work.
So just to clarify, not to clarify, just to upset the beat of the conversation and the flow, just to say, well, do you think that electronic and computerized, shall we say, music is a lesser art form, or doesn't have the qualities and the kind of trace and the veracity that live music has?
No, I don't think that at all. Um, I think it's very personal. I listen to a lot of stuff, very diverse, and I also change my mind uh, once in a while, because sometimes I just understand things in a different way, in a different time. I don't think at all. I think electronic music is great. Also, this is a really great general definition: electronic music, because we have lots and tons of genres that are made with not acoustic uh, instruments. Um, and there's the analog synths and the acoustic, digital synths, and lots of genres. I of course have my own taste. Um, no, I don't. I didn't speak about the art at all. I was speaking about the profession and the way people are. Mm, the people has to behave uh, if they're in this profession. I have a like the when I have some well, again, there are some music I do not professionally, for my fun and art. I usually place them in my SoundCloud. Um, I may say it's art because it wasn't meant for any. It's I wouldn't say it's art. I'll say it made for art's sake, because music for films or songs or whatever is not less art. But these were just made.
Art pour l'art.
Hmm?
Art pour l'art.
Sorry, what
I'm
that meant.
just, I'm just, yeah, and, I'm an artist, artistic elitist, you always say, and art pour l'art, it means art for the sake of art. Yeah, in
Yes.
French, yes.
I'll be easier to say music for the sake of music.
Yes, yes.
I don't know if it's art.
It has a
What is
nice phonetic
yeah.
quality. Yeah,
I don't know what's art. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Uh,
I don't know what
art
is art. So.
art is very complicated word, but it's music for the sake of music.
Yes.
And it's very playful thing I did there. There is a piece made with trains sounds.
Yes.
Um, and there is a piece made of a small sample of I took from Prokofiev piece. It's
Nice.
from the the chapter called Troika from the piece called Lieutenant Kije. It's a great piece. I was amazed first time I saw it. I heard it. Sorry, first time I heard it. It's from the same suite that Sting borrowed the line in the song Russians.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah. Yeah,
that's
now I
how
see it. Yeah,
that's how
yeah.
I got to hear it. And there's one called Troika, and he starts it with some vamp, some loop that sound amazing.
Yeah.
He, he turned the orchestra. He managed to get this pretty amazing
Yes.
sound, like writing sound from this for the orchestra, from the live orchestra. So I couldn't help but to take
Yes.
bar and it looped, and then I just played with it a lot.
No, that's the overture of the piece, the musical piece. That's the
Not even overture. It's like it starts with a dum, 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 dum. No, it has dun, 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 dun,
yes.
dun, dun, dun. All this beginning dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
And then it
Yes.
starts dun, 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 dun. Something with the strings, of course, and the harp, and I think maybe there's a balalaika or something there, or maybe just made the pizzicato to sound like it because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
some
Probably it's Russian. Maybe it could be. Yeah.
it's a Russian, it's and the Russian theme.
Yes.
So it's either really like a balalaika or he made the pizzicato sound like it or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I should go over the score. Um, but I was fascinated by this sound, so I took a bar, looped it because it is a loop anyway. Just
Mm,
played the loop, but it is a loop. And then I made some stuff with it. I reversed it. I added effects. I made more voices. Just did everything. I like this playing around, taking some audio bit and playing with it as much as you can. Also, it has been done before computer times, but then it was really hard. You have to really cut it and loop it and play it faster. Play
so you're saying that in Prokofiev's time, you would be able to do that kind of thing
no,
too? No, you wouldn't.
in Prokofiev time you had to play it all live.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. But you could record because I think the record, the kind of a recording was available in the I think at the
I
end
think,
of
but it
the
was really first
yeah
primal
yeah
recordings.
it was very shady
Yeah, no, I think they were. I don't. Maybe they already had some
yes,
magnetic tapes.
yes,
I don't remember, but if even if they did,
they had something. I know they had something because in America they recorded in the the 1880s.
really,
I think
On a
so. I
magnetic
think so.
magnetic tape.
I have no idea, but I know there are original recordings, yeah, from 1897 or something like
Maybe it's
this.
like wax gramophone.
I don't know. I'm not a
I think
technician.
Prokofiev, if I'm right, Prokofiev is like the 1920s, something like that.
Yes, yes,
So they had some recordings. I'm sure they have. But
yes,
the thing I'm talking about, like to record on a magnetic tape and cut it and loop it and stuff like
yes,
that. I think
yes.
that's more 1960s. I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
It,
I'm not a technician. I'm not a musicologist. I don't know all these
I really
things.
like the work of Steve Reich.
Sorry, Steve
I really
Wright.
like the work of Steve Reich. Steve Reich.
Okay, is the
Uh,
composer?
yes, he's a composer. One of the leading of how do you say zerem of a niche of a area of a scene called minimalism.
Yes,
Um, and it's funny because for most people, minimalism means small, but
yes,
the minimalism in minimalist music is not the number of players or the, you know, the or the arrangement,
or the
but it's the
simplicity of the chords. Yeah.
no, it's the amount of movement.
Oh, interesting.
So many minimalist music is also like have a repetitive characters like you make tone
Yeah.
and after a few bars they will change something
Yes. Yeah.
and
That's
then you'll have like maybe these are marimbas and strings, and then you'll have woodwinds with long notes. So you have a lot going on, and it's moving, but it's moving the same way, and the change is minimal.
mm,
And in my opinion, my feeling, it's a kind of a trance music.
mm.
That's the thing of this music for me.
Yeah,
You
the
get into this.
psychedelic maybe. Mm.
I don't know, but you depends. I don't think it aims in being psychedelic. I think it's aiming trance, not in the way of trance music,
Yeah,
hallucinating,
meditative,
but
meditative.
yeah,
Yeah.
but you have to be in trance to get it with to flow with this music. You have to get to to
Yes.
go with it, to flow with it, and you have to be in this trance, and then you're with it, and the small changes is all you need. Um, I think the opposite side is would be like bebop jazz or cult or
Delta blues.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, not the blues, the jazz. When you have like when they improvise, they have so many musical ideas put into their playing. And then they don't repeat it. You have to be really, really, really musically intelligent to hear it. Say, wow, great ideas! Wow, because to the simple human mind, um, you want to keep it simple. You want to understand. It's like a conversation. If we just tell you a lot of stuff now, great ideas, lots of them, and really quickly, then you have to be able to cope with that conversation to enjoy it. Some people do. Me personally, probably I wouldn't. Most people wouldn't. Um, so this minimalist music, it's really on the other side of the scale. Some people wouldn't dig it also because say, okay, it's boring. What's happening? What's this repetitive thing? So it's about sound. It's about small changes, about being in a trance, and it takes you somewhere. And then when you're in the trance and you're with it, then it can affect your emotion. And they're great pieces of Steve Reich and other minimalist music. And some of it can be with an orchestra trying to get acoustic sounds, and some are digital, not digital, electronic, maybe digital, analog, but electronic, and it's great. Some are vocal. Um,
So, what do you
but
think?
also jazz can be sometime. I mean, at one point, I just say some jazz artists today and also before um, are not about the musical ideas. Um, um, they do play a lot of musical ideas, but sometimes they go into repetitive elements like the minimalist music, and they bring a lot of spirit into their playing. So it can also, if you go with them, they allow you to go with them, and then you can have your emotions affected. Um,
I think personally, from playing a guitar, I'm not a professional, but I played for a long time. And, the hardest thing is to keep a beat, to keep a note, a chord going in the same pattern, the same sequence over and over again. It's the most, the human mind, you can't stand that. But also, the human mind likes to, to saturate in his own, comfortness. And when you get comfortable with it, then you run with it because now you know it. Yeah.
yeah, I think listeners, mostly people, music is very human thing.
Yes.
I think most people react to music in more or less the same way. I mean, there are
Yes.
different tastes and different, um, but it's a very human thing. Even the physiological abilities of music, like almost everyone can hear an octave, like which is the double
Eighth.
of
Yeah.
the double or the half of a certain frequency.
Yes.
Most of us can identify this duplication of frequency very accurately. You would hear if it's not accurate. You would hear it would sound
Yes.
how do you say zuyaf.
Yes.
Uh,
Well, yeah. It's a
it would sound
it's a
untuned.
mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, it would sound
You
untuned.
hear
Like
the error. Yeah.
yeah, or you hear this chorus of two tones was not exactly on the same
Yes.
wave. You will hear some chorus, and you do
Yes.
hear it. Someone who's not professional is not taught, so he doesn't know
Yes.
how to call it. But most people, like 90 something percent, would hear it.
Yeah,
Uh,
but also there are people who have a kind of heightened sense of hearing, and specifically when it comes to music, they are more the affinity of hearing music and the kind of the fidelity to music. It comes naturally to some people as opposed to others, and those people become musicians and whatever. Yeah.
yeah, I was, but before I was talking about the physical abilities that people have, like, and most of them have it. But the musical, the tendency to musical, I'm a little bit investigating it, especially on my own kids. Um, but
You're
also, I
experimenting on your own kids. You know? That's horrible.
yeah, I have. But also, I worked with kids a lot, and sometimes I still do in the studio. So and not only professionals, but also like none, like
Yeah, you know, but the
so
industry kind of golden rule is don't work with animals and children. That's-
it will cost you.
Sorry?
Uh, it will cost you. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Um, so it's interesting for me to find out whether everybody is born or how much of us are born with musical talent. And for talent, I would say, like maybe not talent, a musical ear,
Yes, yes,
basic musical ear, because
yes.
beyond basic, you have to train it, and there's maybe there are ways to do that. But um, I have my theory is that most of us are born with a musical
Mm,
ear.
wow.
By the time we're toddlers, um, we some of us just forget about it or don't want to touch
Wow,
it. Or
interesting. Can you elaborate on that theory?
um, a lot of times I have youth or children, like in how do you say school, like um, not preschool, school. You know,
Okay.
basic in basic school
Yeah, elementary,
ages,
elementary.
elementary school ages, when they have to sing, some just sing, but some are stuck because they're afraid to sing.
Mm,
They don't even know they're afraid to sing, but they never, or for long years, they didn't operate the vocal strings for to make a note. But I can see when I instruct them, I can see that they're stuck. It doesn't. Most of the time, you can see that they hear, and they also hear when they hit the note. They hear it, they feel it, and then they learn. Um, most times they're stuck at some notes. They have to sing a higher note, but they wouldn't. I, no matter what you do, they wouldn't. And some eventually manage to to break this
yeah,
ceiling of a note that they're they're willing to go to because they feel weird, they feel strange
yes.
and uncomfortable to go
Yeah,
higher.
because I remember when I was a kid, maybe I was 10 or 11 or something like this, and we went, my mother sent me to a kind of private school. But you know, you have the kind of the entry exams. And I had the mentor, one of the teachers in that school. I don't remember which school, but it was definitely a musical school, professional for kids. And I remember he said that I'm a big boy, so I have big lungs. So I can, I can go for a kind of a wind instrument. And I think he gave me a saxophone or something, or a tuba even, or something ridiculous like that. And I couldn't, for the life of me, I didn't have enough air in my lungs, to to push it out. So,
Yeah. Um, yeah. But I can see when I work people that most people do hear, and some people, amazingly enough, I really got the impression that they don't. But really, really rare people. They
Yes.
just don't. Um,
I
Also,
know
there
some.
I heard about people that don't like music at all. They
Yeah,
just
yeah, I know some
don't
people
like.
like this.
I,
I
I
don't
heard about
know. I don't know how
I
I
heard
met them.
about
Yeah.
two. I heard about two people like this. They really don't enjoy it.
I don't know. What is that? Have you
I think
ever
it's
heard
interesting. I think it's something, man,
have you
something
ever heard of a kind of scientific study trying to figure out why there are people in this world that can't stand the sound of the music or tone or something?
this is interesting enough, I guess, for people
Yeah,
uh,
it's very weird.
to have this search research. Um,
This this undertaking. Yeah, because
was
no one is.
to my children as part of my theory. I was when they were young. I was singing to them. I don't know when we go to sleep or that, and just like that a cappella. But I sang clean, and I
Yes.
chose songs that have this interesting melody,
So
coherent and all.
you would record yourself multiple
No, I just
times?
no when I was going to bed and stuff. With my
Yeah.
children when they were young.
Yeah, but
So
a cappella is supposed to be several people. I think.
no, I meant a
Yeah.
cappella in the way that just the vocal,
With
not
yeah, with no music. Yes.
yeah, no,
Yes. Yes.
in the room. Or I made sure I hear music, so they heard music, but also to sing. So they would. It was nice and it was pleasant. It was great beyond teaching music, but I focused on just singing, not correcting them and not instructing them, just singing, and I think it worked because they would have joined me, and they heard it, and they. I think this is a good way to teach young children when they're too young to learn. And I have two girls and a boy. Like I have the big girl and the boys in the middle, and the youngest one is a girl too. The girls are singing all the time. They're very musical. They're very talkative. They can talk fluently. You know? And the boy, especially when he was really young, he's less talkative. He's It's harder for him, and he sings here and there, man, especially
Yeah,
today. But
he's a dude. It's going to be a dude.
yeah,
So no, no
it's
talking.
amazing.
Just
It's amazing how they.
ball your emotions into a fist, and then
No, no,
try to hit a wall. Yeah.
it's amazing. No, he has lots of emotion, but inside. But the interface is a man, so
Mm,
you have to. It's a
yes.
problem. I don't know how he's going to do it. The inside he has lots of
You have
emotion,
to
but
defend yourself from your son. Yes.
he has to update the firmware sometimes
Yes.
too, so we would be able to get this all out. But I knew the girls were very musical, but for him I was sure. So at a very small age. So one day we were talking in the car. He was with me, and I told him, "Can you sing this after me?" He said, "Okay," because he's a boy and wanted to say "okay" all the time for saying, but okay, okay. So I sang him uh, a major chord, a minor chord, uh, a minor seven chord, and like a diminished and augmented. He did it. He just sang after me. I said,
Nice.
"Okay, okay, thanks."
Wow.
So I know he had, so I know he have it.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing about him. He's very musical. He likes to sing here and there. Maybe sometimes he can join me when I when I play. He really likes to listen to music. He really enjoys music, and he's very musical. But he doesn't have this passion to play.
Mm,
I taught him a bit, and he doesn't. Maybe it will come someday, maybe not. Just have
Is
to.
a frontliner. Is not a instrumentalist like.
No, I don't think he wants to be a frontliner too. He sometimes enjoys singing to himself, and he does it very well. But
Oh,
I have to accept it that he's not into it at the moment anyway.
yeah, yeah.
So it's also the thing I think we are born with.
Maybe he can play chess or.
No, he can do stuff. Yeah, I can talk for another hour about the things he does. But I want to say that this is another thing besides musical talent, musical ear,
Mm,
that we are born with this passion to
yes.
play.
Yeah, interesting. Man, to play, but we didn't talk exactly. We weren't talking exactly about playing. We're talking about the perception or perceptiveness of being able to identify different types of tunes and rhythms. So I don't know. I'm not a musicologist and I'm not a technician. I haven't listened to music as long as you have, I'm sure. You listen to music all day, every day, but I haven't. Uh, I've throughout my life, I casually, listen to music, but I also try to be a smartass, and I try to when I listen to Mozart or to Bach or something like this, and I try to identify the different kind of instruments coming in and coming out, and all the percussions and the wind and all that, and and there was one recording of a piece by Mozart, and I heard one of the violinists, he dropped his stick, and and well, the stick, I don't
The bow,
remember. Yes,
the bow,
yes. Sorry, the bow. Ah,
the
wow.
flat bow, but it's still called the bow.
Yeah, I'm going to flog myself after this for 70 times over. But but he dropped his goddamn bow and I didn't believe I remembered it or I recognized it while listening. And that point I knew that I had some kind of a musical hearing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think listening to music is something that when you do more, like when you practice your listening, you can enjoy it more. And if you want to enjoy more from listening to music, yeah, I would suggest expanding your horizons and try new things. Doesn't have to be extreme. And also, there are no musts, in my opinion. I can give you strong recommendations based on my taste, but I don't think there is a must. I don't like people. If you have this is a must or this is a must. No, no musts. I guess I can understand why if you want to play in a philharmonic orchestra, then you have to know all Mozart and Beethoven symphonies, and best that you already played all the parts. But as a free listener, there are no musts. It may also, limit you, lock you down. There are no musts. Listen to whatever. Listening to Indian folklore, Chinese New Age. I don't know whatever. I I think that interests you, but try new things and try things that even not. If you hate something, leave it. But if it's just a little uncomfortable, maybe try it. Maybe you'll learn, and then the what you earn is the ability to enjoy more of this thing called listening to music. I Yeah.
Yeah. So when were you first exposed to music? What was the first piece of music, or maybe a glimmer of music that you heard in your life?
First is hard to tell. You start young.
Yeah.
You hear music.
Well,
It's
not
good.
the first one that you remember.
Probably radio. I think my dad had an accordion. He played a little bit. He had some old. We're talking about 1970s something. So we had some organ, small organ. He taught me a little bit. And there was music around in the radio and stuff. Um, I think the first record at the age of 6, I went to piano lessons. I learned something. I wasn't a really good student, but I remember going back from school, and I had this song came to me, and I managed more or less to play it. I don't remember how I played it. I remember I played it, and I remember some of the melody too, like two lines. Um, I think I remember latest trick of Dire Straits in the radio. I have this memory.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, and more stuff. It was like beginning of 80s when I was a child. And then I think the first record I bought was about 7. I heard this Israeli band called Doda. It was made from with Danny Sunderson and Gidi Gov, and Yehuda Eder, Dubi Kizerstein, Alon Nader. And I heard it, and I really, how do you say, really liked it. I liked it. I was caught. I heard it at some cousin was older than I by a few years, and I wanted this, and I heard it a lot. I can still probably I still know all the parts of the instruments in most of the
Mm.
songs, because at that times we had records like vinyl records, not a lot of them, so I heard it all over and over again. I remember some maybe a birthday after or two, my dad brought me a double album of the War of the Words with I thought I forgot the band. What was that? The famous band with an orchestra, but was
Queen,
based with
Queen.
no War of the Words. It was like not orchestral lights. I don't remember. Well, look it up anyway. It's a double album with this. They made kind of a rock opera out of it, and
You said War of the
all
Worlds.
yeah, of H. G. Wells.
H.G. Wells. Yes, I know the
That's
book.
the story of Orson Welles later doing this radio sketch with it and
Yeah.
driving people to the forests, believing there is an alien attack.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I
So
remember that. Yeah. For
years
people
later,
listening who don't know who Orson Welles is, you're just losing every second of your life. You're just
Orson Welles
wasting.
is
Yes. Is
the
one of the greatest directors in American cinema. He
yeah
directed.
he's a how to say a building block. He's
Yes,
just
yes, yes. He,
made like the
foundational. Yeah.
first leaps of music of a cinema language,
Yes.
the cinematic language. So this album, I heard it a lot. This double album, and then more stuff. More and more stuff. Um, oh, I had also when I was 6. Also, my father had this Bach toccatas and fugas played on
Oh, yeah,
organ.
yeah.
So and there was this series.
Jeff Wayne's could be
Jeff Wayne. Who?
Jeff Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds.
It's kind what
I don't know.
the story is by H.G. Wells,
No,
not
no,
Orson Welles.
the I mean the album you said, the musical album,
Maybe,
Jeff
uh,
Wayne's.
maybe. So I also heard this.
Does this look familiar?
Yeah, yeah. This is it.
Yes,
It has a specific art album coming
yes.
with it, and this is it. This is the cover of the.
Yeah, Jeff Wayne's.
Right?
We can move
Uh,
on, yeah, with
no, there
our
was this
sanity intact.
this
Yeah.
yeah, this TV series, the animated of Hayo Hayaw, it was called in Israel,
Yes,
and the
yes.
opening was an edit,
Yeah.
a musical
There
edit
were,
of this
yeah,
Fuga.
also in English, I think it's Once Upon a Time, I think it's called,
Maybe.
or
Yeah.
there is a different title maybe, but more fantastical, but I
But
think,
the opening music is it's kind of musical editing from the toccata and fuga of Bach,
yeah,
B minor.
yeah,
So
but a kind of
and
a vaporwave electronic. Yeah.
da-da-da,
Yes,
da-da-da-da-da,
yes, yes,
da-da. I
of
was
course.
really impressed. So I would hear it a lot. I think my mom has a story about me about like age 6 or 7, bringing a friend of mine to the house and telling me, "Oh, you have to hear this. You've got to hear this. You got to listen to it," and putting it on. And I was delighted. And my mom tell he climbed the walls, like he didn't know what do I want and when it's going to be over. But I learned to play it pretty soon, even though it was not in my level at that time. But if I then when I had a teacher, I told him, "Teach me that." Um, Also, but I can remember points in life when I heard things that really impressed me. It's a bit of a sad thing that as you grow, and I guess it's only an age thing, but maybe it's a general thing. I have less and less moments like this. So, as I said, I had Bach and Doda. Um, okay, I can remember the order, but I think when I heard a picture in an exhibition of Mussorgsky in the orchestration of Ravel, the opening,
Mozgorski.
Mussorgsky,
Yeah.
opening, the promenade opening.
Documents, please. Yes, yes. Got it.
The sound, this
Yeah.
strange harmonics he did. I didn't
Yes.
breathe. It was amazing.
Yes.
Wow, all this piece is amazing. And also when I heard also Steve Reich, when I heard it first time. Also, there's a band called a group, vocal group, the Bulgarian folk women choir. They have these voices.
I can't remember their name.
The original album is called Le Mystery des Vox Bulgares.
Yeah, sounds
When I heard it
familiar.
first,
Yeah, yeah.
I have a teacher in high school who let us
Le
listen
Mystery
to it.
du Feu Bulgares.
Ouais.
The nicer pronunciation. Yes. But
So I was amazed. Uh, then I got also to quartial harmonics, and I heard Bartok. Also, I was amazed by him.
yeah,
And I remember when I didn't know too much about jazz, maybe a little bit of blues, but and then I heard Chick Corea Electric Band, the first album I think. and wow, what's that? It's less trendy today, and also the sounds, this uh, primal digital sounds was very trendy at the time. Now, no, but still, if I hear this first album, it's amazing. Um, what else? Um,
Let me ask you this. Are there the kind of mainstream music pieces that everybody agrees universally that they are beloved and that they are timeless classics? Do you have any kind of disagreements with the top 500 list of best songs ever? Let's
so,
say yes.
well, songs. I like songs, yes, but say songs are very how do you say? Um, are a very limited part of music. Yeah? I think expectations from songs are sometimes too high. Songs are songs. They have this. They have been songs for really thousands of years, probably. I'm not kidding. Thousands.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
um, so, and they have. They. I mean, like a song can't be too original. If it would be too original, it wouldn't really be a song. Um,
Explain.
so, yeah, you have a title here, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of titles. Yeah.
Yeah. Because of course it's not, it's a very open definition, but in my mind, because the only thing you can really be original, well, two things you can be original in a song. One is sound, and it's a very trendy thing. I mean, if you take today's sounds, they're different than 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and 100 years ago. The sounds and the attitude is changing of how you of the music, but the song itself and all you can really bring to be really original, really your own, is be as much as bring as much as you can of yourself, of the really small nuances of who you are, and bring it out as a writer, as a player, as a singer. So this is what really makes a difference between one song to another, and between a good song to another and good performance. So this is the way to be original about songs. It's less about the chords or the arrangement. Have to be good and communicative and serve the lyrics or the emotion. But and if to serve it right, you get to do interesting stuff. So great, but don't. I think if you try to approach it, if you're trying to approach it in a with mind, I mean, to then it wouldn't really work. Like I don't believe in I don't believe it. I don't like mostly academic music,
Okay.
musics which are don't relate to emotion and
Okay.
communicativity. Just
Explain
which they are
exactly what is academic music.
well in the academy we have we have we have like genres of music which are really not communicative and and their motives are like how do you say سخلتانيين from
Yeah.
from the
Yeah,
brain.
very, very logical, very, you
Yeah,
know,
and they have their logics and their thing, but I think, don't you mean?
empirical, logical. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can use that to be creative as a creative tool. Lots of time limitations are creative tools, and rules are creative tools. You can use that, but if the outcome doesn't touch the feeling or doesn't communicate to some people,
Yes.
accept this logical thing, then, well, I don't like it anyway.
Yeah, I feel
I don't,
exactly
I
the
don't,
same.
I
Exactly
don't
the
see the
same.
point. I don't see the
Yes.
point. Also.
Yes. So,
I mean, I sometimes do make music which wouldn't be. Um, oh, we have to finish.
okay, so I'll ask you just one more, just two
Yes.
more questions,
Okay.
quick ones. I hope they are quick. I don't know, but we'll see. Do you think that music suffers when it's technically perfect and has no emotions? But do you think that a perfectly technically performed piece of music can be also emotional, evoking a lot of different emotions and feelings?
I mean, if it performed perfectly,
If it is technical completely, it is utterly perfect. And if you perform it live, shall we say, uh, then I don't feel that people can have that experience, that kind of awakening, that wholesome experience that they get from a bit of reefing, a bit of jams, a bit of improvisation or
I'll
variations.
approach your question in another way.
Okay.
I don't think the performance. I think a good performance is a good performance. And it can be great, and but I think the whole in the heavier, right, like you say, classical part of music, all this orchestra music. I don't know how to call that because it's not the classical, but but the whole concept of sitting quietly, not moving, not daring to cough, uh, pre-corona, I mean, um, and listening to music and not even applaud between chapters um, is very strange and very not connected and even against the concept of listening to music. I don't think in every concert people has to stand and jam and dance, but in some cases, yes. If I hear the rites of spring, maybe it would get a really better experience if I could just. I don't have to dance and jump, but some people do, and maybe it's just for me not to sit like this and here and listen to it. It's also okay, but sometimes the experience is harmed by this way of listening. Um, I think music is experienced way better when it's you can be some kind of a participant. If it's dancing, if it's humming, if it's singing, if it's jamming. Um, Again, some music I would just love to sit and listen. Me, but I also just enjoy listening. The concept of just sitting quietly and listening to music is many in many places harming the experience, and I can really appreciate these players who's giving all their lives to perfect performances of music written 400 years ago or more, but I really can't understand them.
Yes.
I mean, it's great. I play Bach sometimes for myself, and it's great playing this, but I, why would you want to perfect this, and why?
Yes, it is very. It's very. You know, there are kind of composers like Isaac Perlman, which I adore deeply because he doesn't play it technically to perfection. He tries to play with it. He, musters all his imagination into playing. Um, his performances, his recorded performances,
Yes.
are just some of the best music you'll ever hear. I think it's
I think
amazing.
I should take some of my last sentence back, because like, but some of it, like I
Okay.
really like Bach, like solo cello suites, especially
Oh
the
yeah,
second,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially the second. But I think if I would have played the cello, I would love to
Have
play
you
this
heard?
over and over again.
Have you heard
And I would,
Maisky? Maisky played cello.
who?
Maisky. You don't know
Uh,
him?
no,
Wow.
but
Oh, you have
I would share.
homework.
I
Yeah.
would, as I said, there are no musts. There are only
Yes.
recommendations. Also, names are not musts. I don't care if my child knows that this is Beethoven piece. He better know it, But it's less important that he knows the piece,
Yes.
and I don't want him to feel bad about not knowing the name. Well, I remember
Yes.
the name,
Well, you
and
have
I think
bragging rights. Yeah, you have bragging rights now.
and as for like, I would love to play the second suite over and over again. Also, perform it and share this. So in this way, I can understand it, but I'm not entirely understand the way people devote
Yes.
their lives to perfect,
Yeah.
to ultimate
Yeah. Me too. I
perfection.
like to see them do the piece and to completely, go through all the phrases and all the lines and all the chords perfectly with no hiccups. But I just want to hear, I want to, to back you into an alley, and I want to push you further on and to press on this. And I
Okay.
want to
We
ask you
really have, yes,
the ultimate question. That's it.
yes.
And that's it. We're finished. We're done.
All right.
Um,
Yes.
what is your favorite musical piece?
Oh, that would be really hard. Um, I really don't have one.
I mean,
Um,
the pinnacle of
no,
your
I
very
really,
being.
I don't think there is a pinnacle. Sometimes I think about my funerals playlist. I don't think about my funeral, but just for, and
Yeah, your bucket
they would,
list. Yeah.
yeah, they would, I would probably would never ever make it, but I don't think about that. But they will need 3 days, and that would be the
Yes.
pinnacle. I really like
Yes.
a lot of music. Um, I love Indian music, the
Mm,
classical Indian, but also those devotional songs they hear.
mm,
Um, and I love a grunge music.
yes.
Like
Who
I'm,
doesn't?
I'm,
Yeah.
a, I'm a 90s youth, I
Yes.
like grunge
Yes.
music. I really love it. Uh, it's another theory I have that the music of your youth is the thing that will you will be nostalgic about all your life. You will feel at home with this music all your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I really like some of this, like Bach, the solo suites, the second one, especially Saraband, the second one, but all
Yes. Yes.
the second one.
Yes.
And I really like the minimalist, the Steve Reich, and I like some. There's a Peter Erskine, no, a Jan Gabrek um, album called Star. I really love it,
Mm,
and I love Chicorea's many things, and I love Ray Charles and Johnny Hooker, and I love Debussy La Mer. and
Uh,
uh, and
let me see.
Satie music from Picture from Marriage Life, and I like Bartok lots of things. Also the microcosmos and the quartets, the string quartets, and I love Picture in Exhibition, um, Prokofiev, lots of stuff.
You know, the
Uh,
Dance of the Nights, of course. Da, 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 da,
no,
da,
I thought about Lieutenant Kije and
da, 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 da.
the Rite of the Springs,
Yes.
uh, and the Petrushka and Firebird. All these, I love these composers.
Do you know Chopin's Waltz in A minor?
Not by the name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, check it out if you. I'm sure. I think you you probably should know it.
I also like there are more things that I like. Like I used to like Bjork very much,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. Yeah, she's cool.
I love reggae. I love to play
Yeah,
reggae.
me too.
The whole
Me too.
other thing. I'm a bassist.
I used to listen to reggaeton, kind of the Spanish variation.
Mm. And I love. So there's. I didn't even cover all the styles I like. So I can't point a pinnacle.
Okay,
It's gonna be
I think
it's gonna be a plateau. You know.
yes, a plateau. Yes. So I think we covered so many things in this
Yeah.
conversation. I think
Yeah.
it has been exquisite throughout, and I want to thank you so much, Ophir.
Thank you. I hope it will be
Yeah,
interesting for someone.
yeah, I hope so.
I can give you, yes, I can give you links to my SoundCloud or website if you would like
Yes,
to
of course, of
album.
course. I'll incorporate it in the description for your viewing. And thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.
Yeah.